All right, so I've identified a team in the NFL. No matter what happens this weekend, they're going to lose. It's over. All right, I'm just giving you the heads up. All right, I don't care what the score says. I don't care if it's a tie. I don't care. Like, whatever happens, it's going to be a loss for one team in the NFL. All right, so be prepared for this. That team is the Dallas Cowboys. You're screwed. Like, if you're a Cowboy fan, you're screwed, right? Now, the news of Jalen Hurts being out, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that increases the Cowboys' chances of winning that game. That's correct. Jalen Hurts, it was in the lead for the MVP before he suffered this shoulder injury against the Bears last week. So the news coming out that Jalen Hurts is going to miss this game and you're going to get Gardner Minshew coming up on Saturday. I mean, if you're one of these Cowboy fans out there, you're feeling great about it. But it's bad news if you actually sit and think about it. Now, it's also bad news for Jalen Hurts fantasy owners. I mean, that's a rough way to go. Like, you work all this time, you draft Jalen Hurts, people are probably mocking you. Why'd you draft Jalen Hurts? You get to the playoffs, and then you realize, oh, he's not going to play. So now you're scrambling. You probably overpaid for Gardner Minshew, and now you're trying to hold on to your hopes and dreams that Gardner Minshew, who hasn't started a game all season long, is going to be able to step in against a really good Cowboys defense and perform. So thoughts and prayers to all of you out there who do own Jalen Hurts in your fantasy team, in your fantasy league. Not an ideal situation heading into the playoffs for most people in their fantasy leagues. But point being, the other group this is not good news for is the Cowboys, no matter what you say. Because this game just became a waste of your energy. I'm telling you that right now. It became a waste of your energy. Now, I'm not telling you not to watch. You absolutely should watch. As we mentioned, if you don't watch football, if you're not a fan of the NFL, you're a loser. I mean, these are clear line in the sand statements here. Like, you're either on one side or the other. If you're on the other side, you're a loser. So watch the game. It's on Fox. It's going to do massive numbers. I don't know if it'll do as many numbers as they did on Thanksgiving between the Giants and the Cowboys, but I think it's going to do a huge number and a huge rating, and it's going to be fantastic television. And you know the Dallas Cowboys are going to have a red ass against Nick Sirianni, who yelled, "That's game, F you," from the sideline, the first meeting, and then was shouting and yelling and doing all sorts of obscenities and you name it, walking into the tunnel afterwards. You know the Cowboys are going to get fired up for it. And they've been having to hear it all week about their performance at Jacksonville and then the previous week's performance against Houston, a game they should have lost. So you know Dallas is going to come out. So if you're a Cowboy fan, you feel great. Hey, Christmas weekend's not going to be ruined. We got a backup quarterback. We're pissed off about the first time we saw these guys. We're going to get even, and we're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And you might, but you're still going to lose. You can't win, no matter what. Because if the game's over and you're ahead on the scoreboard, what are they going to say? Yeah, but it was Gardner Minshew. Now, I mean, we saw what happened the first time you guys played. It didn't look all that hot. I mean, so cool. I mean, you're Dak Prescott. You can beat a backup quarterback. But, yeah, you couldn't beat Jalen Hurts the first time around. Like, you played a starter in his second year in Trevor Lawrence last week, and you couldn't beat him either. That's what the narrative's going to be. These are what we're – like, this is what's going to be discussed. Yeah, you won the game, but backup quarterback. And God forbid you lose that game if you're the Dallas Cowboys. If you thought the ridicule and ball busting that you've been getting from people who are Cowboy haters or doubters of Dak Prescott, if you thought that was bad over the past few weeks, you've seen nothing yet. If you lose this game to Philadelphia, who clinches home field in your backyard during a holiday weekend in front of 30 or 40 million people watching, if you lose this game, I mean, I would recommend listening to Fox Sports Radio. I would recommend watching FS1. But I would probably be very careful, and I would just be aware that you're going to be the punchline for a long time afterwards. It's going to get bad. Now, what it actually changes in the grand scheme of things, not really much, because, Philly was going to get the 1 seed anyways, and you're already in the playoffs, and, you're going to have to go on the road the first week, and who knows, maybe you'll face Tampa Bay, who's wounded. I like Dallas in that game. Regardless of what happens to Tampa Bay down the stretch or if Tom Brady figures it out. But in the whole grand scheme of things, it's not going to mean much except for the fact that you lost to a backup quarterback. So all the other discussions that you've been having about making a legitimate run and being a legitimate threat in the NFC, all that goes away. It's over. And if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, if you were to meet Philly in the playoffs again, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. It's tough to do. We saw what happened last year. Rams 49ers met in the playoffs. 49ers owned them in the regular season. All of a sudden, they get to the NFC title game, and the Rams figured it out. A dropped interception helped, but the Rams figured it out. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season, so you do have that going for you. But as far as this weekend goes, lose-lose. You win the game, you beat a backup. You lose the game, you lost to a backup. And Philly clinched the 1 seed in the NFC. That's a bad situation to be in. It would be like the woman who broke your heart calls you and says, you've been fixated on this. You want to get back together. She ripped your heart out. Has destroyed your life. Ruined you. She calls you up and says, I'd like to get back together. And it's like the moment you've been waiting for, because all you wanted was another chance. You wanted to be back together. You were waiting for that call. You were hoping for that call. She says, I've learned my lesson. I realize you're the one. Let's get back together. Only to find out that she was dating Dirk Diggler while you guys were broken up. That's a rough way to go. Because, hey, on one hand, it's the woman of your dreams. You're in love. You're no longer heartbroken. On the other hand, while she was away, things are a little different when she gets back. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, you got to worry about that thought in the back of somebody's head for the rest of your life. So there's that. Like some situations, no matter what, it may seem like a win. It's not a win. And if you're the Cowboys or if you're Cowboys fans, there's no way this goes in the direction of we feel great about things. This is going to be awesome afterwards. This is going to be fantastic. Because no matter what happens, the doubters are still going to be there. And Cowboy fans know this too. They can be as defiant about it as they want. They can say whatever they want about it. We've seen this story and we've seen this for years with the Dallas Cowboys. For years. And this is one of those situations that's going to feel like a tease. It's why Mike McCarthy was put in such an awful spot by Jerry Jones in the preseason. Like, what's Mike McCarthy got to do to make sure he's going to be the long-term answer at coach? Play out the scenarios. Even if Mike McCarthy improves on last year's performance, which was went to the playoffs, lost in the first round. If they go to the playoffs this year, and let's play this out, they take on Tampa Bay, and it's at Tampa Bay. If you were to just isolate that discussion, you would say, here's a head coach and here's a team who went on the road in the playoffs and beat the GOAT Tom Brady, a team who just won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and they did it on the road to open up the playoffs. For any other coach, your job is safe. For Mike McCarthy, the seat's still hot. Because if the next round you play Philly and you get smashed, regardless of whether or not you win this game this weekend or not, you're probably going to get clipped. Because that's how Jerry Jones has set this up. That's how he's built this impossible task going into the season. So it's kind of like you're wasting your energy. Like you're holding on to hope every single week. Hey, is Dallas going to do it? Are they going to do this? Like, oh my God, Jalen Hurts is out. We're playing Gardner Minshew. All the odds completely changed and went in the other direction. And I got news for you. I actually think Dallas would have won this game even if Jalen Hurts were the quarterback. But the fact that he's out, the fact that he's not going to be there, you're going to win this game most likely, as the opinion of the betting markets would tell you, and it's not going to matter. It's a waste of energy. It's the one game and the rare moments in life, no matter what the scoreboard says, no matter how many points you got, no matter how good you look, you're going to lose regardless if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan.